energy of looking to be swept up. And at the same time, no. I want to feel deep connection to something.
Once in a college art course, a professor asked my class to draw an apple. Then she asked a series of questions. Does your apple have a stem? Does it have a leaf? Is your apple heart-shaped? Does it have perfect symmetry? Lastly, she said with a smirk, does your apple have the rectangular shiny spot? Fewer heads bounced on this last one as our feelings of affirmation were now taking a back seat to an impending lesson. We were about to be schooled. While this is a small, seemingly insignificant moment in my career, it stuck with me for almost 2 decades later. Why? Because though I didn't know it at the time, that lesson would be an ongoing metaphor for my vocational contentment. The word vocation is derived from the Latin root vocare, which means to call. Through this lens, work isn't just a job, but a calling. And even though I knew my career path was a challenging one, I must admit that I had romanticized the everyday life of it a bit. Sure, I dreamed of the nostalgic sense of Play-Doh and tempera paints wafting through the air of my classroom. But, most importantly, I longed for emotional fulfillment from my work, to know and to feel that I was making a difference each day. And while there were moments just like this, it was not the norm by any means. And the longer I lived out my vocation day after day, the apple's shine began to dull. The weight of evaluations, the exhaustion of planning, and the emotional toll of care fatigue all set in. Perfectionism and competition crept into the spaces of my soul that had previously been reserved for creativity and connection. And while each year I anxiously anticipated September to usher in my favorite season of autumn, I began to dread it, knowing I wouldn't have the emotional bandwidth for the upcoming holiday season. I adopted a push-through mentality, stealing away my favorite time of year. I stopped doing things I loved, like decorating my home with cozy fall decor or treasure hunting at local craft fairs that give you pumpkin spice vibes. Instead, I felt as if I had to trade in those moments for the sake of recuperation. I started to question my choices. It felt like this thing that I had given so much to, something that was more than just a job to me, but a part of who I was, had somehow betrayed me. If I weren't this, then who was I? I felt let down, lonely, and stuck. The apple's shine was gone. But the thing is, it wasn't the apple that had changed. It was what it was. It was the artificial shiny spot that had blinded me to the reality of the apple's imperfections that were there all along. I had allowed an idealized highlight reel to compare my value, shape my identity, and control my actual life. And the burden of it was crushing. When your calling doesn't turn out like you thought, the road to burnout is paved right before you. Along that path, you're stalked by cynicism, creeping around every corner like the big bad wolf. You aimlessly wander along the path, becoming more and more lost, isolated and withdrawn until you find yourself so deep into the darkness of the woods, you have no idea which direction to take to get you back to where you started. For me, I started to find my way back when I began reclaiming September. So what's the process of reclaiming look like for me? What did it look like this September compared to last? How does it look all year long? I'll not pretend this has been a linear journey. Every path to growth weaves and turns, holds hills and valleys. Like reflection, reclaiming is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. It looks different with each change in life, both professional and personal. Reclaiming is deeply intimate and unique to each seeker. It might not be understood by those around you. It may seem selfish. It might appear like a loss of productivity. It might be perceived as unprofessional or uncommitted, but it's a recommitment to yourself before something else. It might be visibly announced like large porch pumpkins and an inviting welcome mat. It might be invisible in the silent affirmations of gratitude you breathe with your morning coffee. It sometimes roars with loud gestures like changing work roles or making a move to a new city, but most often it whispers quietly through small practices like setting boundaries around your after-hours email and closing your computer while eating lunch. It's the adventure of visiting a small town on the weekend and the wonder it holds in its secret treasures. The imagination of who was here before me and what did they leave behind for me to know their story. Reclaiming is sometimes healing, like taking a walk in the rain, letting the wind move across your cheeks and not worrying about the splashes of mud on your pant legs. It's something sensory like tasting apple butter made from scratch and meeting the hands that prepared it by sharing a quick hello. It's the nostalgia of reading your favorite picture book from childhood, remembering what it felt like to learn something new for the first time, recalling the gentle crackle of the book's protective cover opening just like the creaking of a door to another world. So what if we built a community and held space to take this journey together? What if we quieted ourselves to once again hear our inner voice? What if we replaced competition with connection and hurriedness with grace? What could that even look like? How can we reposition ourselves as learners to rediscover? As a supportive community, let's cozy up with our journals and reflect on these essential questions together. What do you want to get back to? Who do you want to get back to being? What, where, when did you last feel like yourself? How can you learn from the past while still moving forward? What needs to change in order for you to get to where you want to be? What's the shiny spot that needs to be removed from your work or life? What's the one thing you want to reclaim first? How can I start the practice of reclaiming today? Now, with a gentle breath, let's remind ourselves that it's okay that we don't know everything. Just like you, I'm still learning.